in Paris with this shit, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
The thing about, and here's the thing about doing the live events, which, and I'll say it on camera, so live events. I would say that when I started doing live events, the only other person that was doing live events locally was Matt Henry. Remember Matt Henry?
Yeah, sure.
Matt Henry was OG, super OG. But on the Mexican side, like I felt like I was really the first to do it. And then obviously Osama started doing live from the blog. And then when I really started seeing the numbers come in and having the success, I remember calling Renaissance, probably, I don't know, man, maybe as early as 2013, maybe 2014, and I pulling his leg, like, man, you gotta do your own event. You gotta do your own event. And he refused to do his own event. It took him maybe 3 years, 4 years, and he finally established the Unforgiven Live. Mm-hmm. And he'll tell you that I played a big part in like convincing him and helping him, and even now, like helping book the talent for his event. Like I helped book Project Pat for this last event for him. But I take a lot of pride in that aspect of it, because the only reason I ever did it was because I wasn't getting booked. Truth be told, I really wanted to kind of serve as a, if it's not happening for you, create your own opportunities.
You want to book yourself? That's what you want to do?
That was the initial point. Yeah. The initial point was like, damn, I ain't getting on no shows. Ain't nobody booking me, so let me just book my own shows. Like, if you look at Total Pandemonium, which is funny, the first set of Total Pandemonium shows, I was booking them, I was selling them out, I was keeping all the bread, I was paying out my winning dance crews, and I was performing at all of them. And then I felt like, man, this is going to be some real overkill. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be force-feeding myself to the public. So I started kind of developing more of a promoter mentality. And because I'm so influenced by pro wrestling, as these guys like to make fun of me for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had this Vince McMahon mentality, and I had this, and me being influenced by pro boxing. Oscar De La Hoya had launched his promotional brand, but when he launched his Golden Boy Promotions, he was still an active fighter. So I was I was trying to intertwine the worlds, and then I realized if this is really going to work, I have to dedicate all my time to this. So when I launched Premier Live, I don't think I've ever performed on any of my live events over the last 6 or 7 years. That's just the truth. Like, do I get the itch? Yeah, man, I see some of these guys, I've booked some national artists, I'm like, damn, dog, I know I could fucking smoke these guys on stage.
Did you perform at something recently, though? Like last year or something? Earlier this year?
Man, the only thing I do now, so I manage an artist. You're talking about, hey, the point I was trying to make was like, as far as the Tupac analogy of, I might not be the person to change the world, but I want to spark the change, and somebody does. Like, I know that we have a label meeting in a week with Rock Nation for the artist that I manage. And she's not from Fort Worth. She actually resides in Georgetown, Texas, which is an outskirt of Austin. And she's a Mexican artist. And when we were on the phone, they were talking specifically about her getting, editorial playlists on Spotify, because we have a really good relationship with one of the main editors that works at Spotify, not a curator, an actual person that's employed to Spotify. And they've given her a lot of prominent playlist placement on like the Latin playlist. And so we were on the phone with Rock Nation, and the guy that we were talking to was telling us, like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I see that y'all are putting her on the Latin playlist, and that's dope, but she's so much more than a Latin artist. And so I was like, dope, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, a lot of my social media platforms, like, people would try to like tell us and convince us that, like, people would try to like, a lot of people would try to make us second guess, the Mexican, the Latin community. And I'm looking at it like, man, in terms of buying power, we have so much buying power. There's a reason why Canelo Alvarez is the #1 pro boxing draw in all of boxing. There's a reason why we're able to do what we do. I interviewed Bun B recently, and Bun B went on the record to talk about the importance of Mexican Americans in Texas, and how he feels that there's nobody that supports more than Mexican Americans, and that and I feel that way. Like, I've seen with my own eyes how much our community will get behind something that they firmly believe in, to the point where it's like, well, is it really a weakness? I mean, you de-emphasize your weaknesses and you emphasize your strengths, right? Like, if we focus on marketing to the Latin community, the Latin community is going to get behind us, and they're going to go super strong if they believe it's authentic, know? And I feel that there's a reason why, you know, Selena in Texas is still, you know, doing the things that they're doing with her brand. You know, she could put out a makeup line today and it'll be sold out the same day, line wrapped around the block, you know. There's so many examples of that. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I feel that, to your point, I know that there's strength in numbers. You know, obviously when you talk about even streaming in 2021, the top streaming artist was Bad Bunny. Yeah, he's not Mexican, but, you know, we're seeing...
What is he?
What is he? It's Puerto Rican, right? Yeah, it's Puerto Rican.
Mm.
You know, but it's a Latin movement. You know what I'm saying? It's a Latin movement. And I think that we're seeing that the fact that we are the majority minority, you know, in that regards, you know?
What advice would you give any entrepreneur, artist, promoter, manager? If you wore all those hats, what advice would you give them in a lump sum? Like,
I mean, I think it's important to identify what your goals are. You know, like, what does success mean to you? Like, how do you define success? Like, you can never define success by somebody else's success, right? Like, what success means to me is going to be different than what it means to you. You know, some people measure it based off of analytics. Some people measure it off of numbers and stats and vanity metrics. Others may, you know, base it off of, you know, materialistic things, right? Or whatever the case may be. You have to find what it means to you. For me, it's about being fulfilled. You know, whenever I was younger, I was chasing the illusion of what success meant. I was chasing the quote unquote the bag, the money, whatever. But ultimately, the one thing that I really wanted was to be able to make a living off of what I love to do. And I didn't realize, like, you know, I haven't had a regular day job in fucking 6-7 years. This is all I've done. So to a lot of people, and when I see people in public, they view me as successful because I've done what I said I was going to do and what I want to do. And to me, now I look back on it and I'm like, I'm fulfilled. Like, that's all I ever wanted. So in a sense, I'm fulfilled. So you have to find what fulfills you and what success means to you, because you're going to kill yourself, you know, mentally and emotionally trying to compete and compare it to other people. You know, man, I see what he's doing, man. I want to do it bigger. Why? Just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's going to be better at being you than you, you know? And I think that's the one thing about me. Whenever I was younger, I was like, hey, man, like, I can't do what Renaissance is doing. I can't do all the rap acrobatics and flip words the way he flips words and twists words the way he does. So I'm not going to try. I'm going to do this, you know? And, you know, he'll tell you. And like I said, me and him have grown to have an extremely strong friendship because I have my strengths. Like, just like I might not be able to do that, he might not be able to do what I do, right? And so you just have to identify those things within yourself, have a clear understanding of what you're trying to do, and at the same time, you know, like, know what your destination is. I say this all the time, man. You know, you can jump in a car, drive 100 miles per hour, but if you don't know where you're going, you're gonna run out of gas, and you know, if you don't know where you're going, you're gonna fucking go nowhere quick. So having that understanding is vital and important to all of this. And then also just being a good student, talk less, listen more, you know, and being observant and study success stories. Don't be too prideful. I think we complicate our journeys a lot. We complicate our journeys because if there's something that you do great, I'm not going to hate on what you're doing. I'm going to try to take what you're doing, and I'm not going to hesitate to potentially reach out to you to try to learn and try to get that. Like, if, you know, like I said, if I get a flat tire right now, my car breaks down, I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not a fucking mechanic. So don't complicate your journey. You know what I'm saying? Don't complicate your journey. There's reasons why people are experts. I will not get behind the board and try to engineer a record. That's why Chico does it. You know, there's a reason why I'm not trying to do certain areas. I might have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm not going to do that. So that's what I would really advise people to do. Like, don't hesitate, man. Like, if you see somebody doing something great, you know, take a personal approach, a personalized approach. Oh, man, he's doing, you know, he thinks he's all that. Like, how? Why? Because you see him online, like, you don't even know him.
Yeah. Like,
you'll be surprised, man. I've actually taken, like, I take a lot more people's inquiries whenever they make it personable. Like, hey, you know, what's up, man? Can I take you out to eat? Like, you know, I know a lot of people ain't got big budgets or big money. It doesn't matter. Like, yo, the fact that you're making that effort, I'll give you the time. But most people don't even make the effort. So.
Yeah, let's go. How you catch a homie package? That's why I got some money.